Hi, I'm Wendy Valencia from wendyvalencia.com. Today I'm going to quickly walk you through 6 easy steps so you can create your first budget no matter what your income. And the best thing is that this will align with your own personal spending habits. Now, I do have this whole process in detail broken down into easy step-by-step templates that you can follow, and I'll link that down in the description box if you want to head over there and check that out. Before we start, if you're behind on your bills and you need to catch up, I also did a whole video on that, and I'll link that at the end. And I do highly recommend that you check out that video and incorporate those suggestions into this process. So let's get started. Step 1, you're just going to get ready to make your first budget. You're going to gather 3 months of bank statements and credit cards, or wherever you spend your money, that is where you're going to gather 3 months worth. Also get a calculator, a pen, a pencil, paper, and a ruler, because you're going to need to, keep your place as you're going down line by line, item by item. So you definitely need a ruler. Now take a deep breath, because step 2 is going to be the most difficult part, but don't worry, it's not actually difficult. So in step 2, you're going to go through each one of the statements line by line, step by step, and put all of your expenses under one of the following categories: income, housing, utilities, groceries and household supplies, childcare, transportation, giving, eating out, insurance, clothing, pet, medical, savings, spending money, subscriptions, and that's anything that occurs monthly, from Netflix to the gym, self-care and beauty, debt, and other. So now that you've done that, we're going to move on to step 3. And in step 3, you're going to take an average of each of these categories. In this step, you just add up the categories and get a total, and then divide by 3. And that's going to give you an idea of the average that you spend each month. In step 4, you're going to compare your income to your expenses. And the goal of this step is just simply to make sure you're spending less than you're actually earning each month. So first, you need to figure out what your total expenses are by adding up every single item except for your income, and then compare that to your average monthly income. If your income is higher, then yay, you've just created your first budget and you're done. So you can head on to step 5 to see where you can identify any problem areas where you can cut back to free up some cash to reach your financial goals faster, or you can just stop right there. If your average expenses, however, are higher than your income, then you definitely need to head to step 5. So in step 5, we're going to identify our problem areas. And it is likely for most people that several categories jump off of the page at you. They're like sitting there just screaming in your face. Most people look at how much they're spending every month on food and go, whoa. But don't worry, even the most frugal people in the world have 3 categories that they tend to overspend on. Once you have identified the areas where you need to make changes, decide how you're going to cut back and how much. But be reasonable here. Don't plan on cutting your food category from $800 to $100 in one day. At this point, you should have easily identified your problem areas and places to cut back. If you didn't, you could actually have one of 3 issues. 1, you're not being realistic. If you're spending more every month than you're making, then something has to change. If you get $180 to color your hair and have $142 ice skating lessons for one of your kids as non-negotiable, and you're $300 over budget every month, that's a problem. Number 2, you have huge amounts of debt that are taking up a lot of your money each month. If you are paying a lot of money to debt every month, you may need to look at long-term plans for paying off your debt so your expenses are less every month. And you may need to look at some very quick things that you can do to pay down some debt quickly so you can be spending less than you're making each month, like getting a second job. The third issue is legitimately that you are not making enough money. So if your spending is needs only and you have no wants or fun in there and you're still not making enough money, then your issue is not your spending. Your issue is your income. And if that's the case, you may want to think about a career change or a long-term side hustle. So if you're struggling with step 5, it's advisable to ask like a confidant or someone to take a look at your spending to see what they see, the possible problem areas. Sometimes having an extra set of eyes on your budget can really help. Now, once you've identified these areas, we move on to step 6, where we're going to finalize the budget and get started spending and tracking your expenses so you make sure you're staying on track. So if you'd like to take a deeper dive into this process, I'm going to point you to a video right up here, which really breaks this process down. It's a much longer video and it gives you, all the graphics that you need for this whole process. And for those of you who are trying to catch up on overdue bills, then I'm going to suggest you check this video right here out. So I'll see you in the next one.